Hello, this is Dr. Dave Gatros. This is for my Unix class, COP 3353, or anybody else that's interested. What I'd like to do is cover a few of the Unix commands that you use in almost every session. Very handy, and it behooves you to learn them very quickly. The first one is ls, which stands for file list or list structures. It actually displays a list of the files in the directory that you're currently in, and the command is simply ls, and it gives you a simple list of the files that are in there. You want to see the details of the files. You can do ls-l, and then what it displays is the permissions on the left hand side. The next number is the access control list flag, the owner of the file, which is myself, Gatros D, the group that I belong to, CS faculty, the size of the file in bytes, the date it was created or last modified, and then the name of the file itself. The explanations of the permissions is done on the video that I have for chmod or change mod. Now let's say there's another option, and we'll combine this with the long list, is -a, which shows the hidden files, and there's 4 of them in this file. There's the dot and the double dot. The dot indicates which is the current directory. The double dot is the previous directory. Then I have 2 files I created, just created them. There's nothing in them, dot hidden and dot plan, just to show you what a hidden file looked like. Okay. There's also a ls-a uppercase, and I'll combine that with the long list to show you. This displays hidden files except the dot and the double dot files. There is an option to display the directories, -d, but you have to include the asterisk and the slash in that to specify the current directory, this directory that we're in. And you can see that I've got 3 in there, assign1, temp, and tmp. And again, any option I can combine with the L option. The other thing you'll notice that I'm doing is I'm using the up arrow keys here to go back to a previous command that I typed in, and what I can do is I can go back to that command, I can modify it and rerun it. So that's a very handy feature. Continuing on, ls-b L displays non-printing characters. If there were non-printing characters in the file name, it would display them. -t option shows the files sorted by the time they were last modified, most recent up at the top, and then there's another one, -u, which shows the time they were last accessed. And then a handy one is -1, which displays the files one line at a time. You notice that if I just do an ls, it kind of spreads them out over the screen. This is handy if I want to create a file of the files in the directory. What I can do is I can do a del ls-1 and then redirect the output from the screen to a file. I can say dir.out, and you'll notice nothing came to the screen. It went to the file dir.out. More dir.out. We're going to look at it using the more command, and there it is. Okay. Now the other thing you can do, and this, you may or may not be aware of this, but you can actually ask for specific files. In other words, I could say ls-l. You'll have to excuse somebody doing lawn work outside. You might be able to hear the motor, but anyway, we'll continue on. I can actually ask for specific files. In other words, give me all the files, the asterisk, the wildcard, that end in sh. Okay, and there are all the ones that end in sh. Or I can say, give me all the files that begin in e and end in sh. And there are all the ones that begin in e and end in sh. All right, that is ls. Very handy command. Oops, don't want to get that on there. Now, continuing on, I want to show you a command you'll use, and we've already used it. Is called more. Now, if you want to see the contents of a file, what you do is you say more, Okay, and we'll show, say my file.txt. Okay, there's nothing in that one. We'll say more. Now let's see. Here's well, finder.sh, and you display it. Displays the contents of the file. Now, if the file was longer than a single page, what more does is it displays it one page at a time, and you can tell it how many lines of this text to display. So let's say that I just wanted to do more on let's see, put it back over here. I want to do more on finder.sh, but I only want to display 4 lines at a time. Okay, then that's all it's going to do, 4 lines at a time. Now the phrase less is more kind of explains the origins of the name of the utility. The more utility that I just showed you is the original Berkeley Unix pager, as pager is called, and it's available under almost all versions of Unix that I've ever seen. There is a utility called less, which kind of does the same thing, and it's the newer version. It's available on the Mac OS too. It has a few more options with it. Okay. And you can actually say Q and quit. The spacebar pages you through the pages one at a time, or let's do more -4 finder.sh. You'll see that I can use the return key. We'll actually do 1 line at a time, or the spacebar will do the next page. There's another utility we use to display a file. It's not used as often. It used to be used a lot more way back when it was created. It's called cat. Now cat just shows you the entire file, and if it was several pages long, the whole file would just screen right past you. Not used as often as more. It used to be used whenever we would, that's how we would screen capture a file from one computer to another. We would use the cat command to display a file. Let's have a little short discussion now about directories. And let me get back over here on my screen. There we go. Clear it out. I have 2 directories or 3 directories in this one: assign, temp, and tmp. Let me go down into the temp, and that's done by cd for change directory and tmp, and I don't have to hit the / key. I could. I'll just go ahead and show you, and it changes me into that directory. I look in there and there are 2 things in there. Let me remove those files, and that's a thing rm finder.s. That's a delete key. Okay, and let me do an ls on that. Okay, and we'll see that names is a small file, has a few bytes in it. Let me remove names. Okay, so now this directory is empty. Let me go back up an entry, and that's done by using the cd ... Remember, the ... is the parent directory. By doing that, it looks in that file ... and it finds the path of where the parent directory is and puts you there. And if you do an ls, you'll see we're up in that directory. Let me now remove that directory, mkdir tmp. Okay, now I do an ls, and you'll see that that directory is no longer there. Let me create a directory and show you how to do that. mkdir, okay, tempdir, I'll give it another name, okay, and boom, do an ls, and right there it is. You'll see it right over here. That's the temp directory. Following along the lines of change directory, and I don't want to get too complex about this, I just want to show you the simple commands. Let's say you forget where you're at, and you've changed directories, you've gone off to places, and you've tried to find other files, and you go, wait a minute, I want to go back to my root directory. Well, if you remember your login name, if you remember your username, you can get back to it. You can say cd tilde -gatros d, and I do an ls. Now I'm in my root directory. Let me go into my I'm going to go into the directory of where the working directory of where we're at. I'm going to do the complete path. So I'm going to say cd tilde gatros d / now public. I'm going to start typing public, and about this part right here I'm going to hit the tab key, and it recognized that underneath gatros d there was a directory called public HTML, and it finished it out. Public HTML, classes, COP 3353, okay. Okay, and we'll go into CD, sample scripts, ls, there we are, and there we are, and that's CD. Well, those are a few of the useful commands I think you'll find handy. There's lots and lots of options for each one of them. It kind of behooves you to go over them. We're reaching our 11-minute limit here on YouTube, so I'm going to sign off and go make another video. We'll see you then. Have a good day.